Thank you everyone for coming this afternoon, this evening. And we're through this program of Krishna consciousness. I didn't actually have any particular topic prepared to discuss, but if anybody has any topic that you'd like to hear about, I would be happy to oblige. Or any questions anyone has? Any particular verse you'd like to hear? Okay. Krishna says, Yat karoshi yat ashnasi yat johoshi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushvamad arpanam. Yat karoshi. Anyone here? Raise your hand if you never do anything. Never do anything at all. So we all do things, right? So Krishna says, this is what you should do this for me, whatever it is that you do. This is chapter 9.27. Chapter 9 is entitled what? Most Confidential Knowledge. Why is it entitled Most Confidential Knowledge? Because if he's talking about love, he's talking about the things that are really close to his heart. Things that are closest to our heart, that is most confidential. We don't reveal those things to anyone, isn't it? Marma Kivat. So, chapter 9, most confidential knowledge, and this is one of many instructions on pure devotional service that Krishna gives here. He's just told Arjuna that if anybody offers me, Krishna says, water, little tulsi leaf, some flowers, little fruit, if anyone offers me with love, then I will accept it. And then he goes on to say that actually whatever you do, whatever you offer, whatever you eat, whatever you do, whatever you sacrifices you perform, whatever austerities you perform, do that as an offering to me. So Srila Prabhupada writes in his, let's say, before we conclude this verse, we should sing Mangalacharana for auspiciousness. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurumilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yadavara Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopikaranta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hare Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Cha Pajitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Bhagavad Gita chapter 9, text number 27. Yat karoshi rashnasi yat johosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva mad arvanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. Srila Prabhupada writes about this in his purport. Thus it is the duty of everyone to mold his life in such a way that he will not forget Krishna in any circumstance. Everyone has to work for maintenance of his body and soul together. And Krishna recommends herein that one should work for him. Everyone has to eat something to live. Therefore, he should accept the remnants of foodstuff offered to Krishna. Any civilized man has to perform some religious, ritualistic ceremonies. Therefore, Krishna recommends, do it for me. This is called archana. Everyone has a tendency to give something in charity. Krishna says, give it to me. And this means that all surplus money accumulated should be utilized in furthering the Krishna consciousness movement. Nowadays, people are very much inclined for meditational process, which is not practical in this age. But if anyone practices meditating on Krishna 24 hours a day by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra round his beads, he is surely the greatest meditator and the greatest yogi, as substantiated by the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Anyone know what verse Srila Prabhupada is referring to in the 6th chapter?
647.
Yes, very good. What is it?
Yogi nam api sarvesham vatadadgatan antiryatma shraddhavan vajitevam somat.
Sameyukta tamomata. If somebody is, of all the yogis, he says, someone who is given over to me and is worshiping me with great faith, Krishna says, he is the best of all the yogis. So, Same Yukta Tamomata. I consider him to be he's engaged best. So this is what Prabhupada says, and he concludes his purport with this. So it's a very simple principle. It's a comprehensive principle at the same time. Whatever we do, whatever we eat, whatever we give away, whatever we offer, whatever austerities or rituals we perform, we shouldn't do that as an offering to Krishna. Has anyone ever been to a homa before? Of course you have. What do they say in the end of each offering after they finish? No? Okay, yeah, you're getting warm. I'm thinking of this. Shri Krishna Arpayami, no? Shri Krishna Marpanamastu. May this be an offering unto Lord Krishna. Even if you're worshipping in Durga Puja, Namastasyai, 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 Namo Namah, still, it's understood that the Yajneshwar of the sacrifice is whom? Vishnu, Krishna. Therefore, Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. So sometimes people wonder about this. If we're worshiping somebody else, then why do they say Shri Krishna Arpanamastu? They should wonder about this. Because actually this is the whole point. Krishna says anything that you do as a sacrifice for anyone actually is ultimately intended only for me alone. Why? Bhoktaram yajnatapasam. I'm the enjoyer of the sacrifices or the austerities. Yajnatapasam. And what else? Bhoktaram yajnatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. I'm the supreme controller of all the lokas. What does loka mean?
World.
Yeah, the world, society, the planet, whatever. Sarvaloka maheshwaram. I'm the supreme controller of all those things. Suridam sarvabhutanam. And of all living beings, I am what? Suridam. Surit. Somebody who has a good heart towards you. Surit. This is Krishna. Srila Prabhupada said, this is his peace formula. Nyadva mam shantim rachati. If someone understands this, then he attains me and he gets peace. This is Krishna consciousness. So this is a very simple principle. Everybody can understand this because we all eat every day. We all act in various ways every day. Sometimes we give things away, if not every day, but at least sometimes we do. We perform austerities. Whether we like to or not, we have to perform austerities. Is it not an austerity to rise early in the morning and run off to work in the snow in the winter? Yes, it's an austerity, but we do it. Why? Because we have some love for someone, if not Krishna. So Krishna says, please do it as an offering unto me. And this way, we will make advancement. What does Krishna say in the next verse? Shubha shubha palayadevam moksha se karma bandhanaihi sannyasa yoga yuktatma vimukto mam upaishyasi. In this way, you will be freed from bondage to work and its auspicious and inauspicious results. With your mind fixed on me in this principle of renunciation, you'll be liberated and come to me. Srila Prabhupada comments, one who acts in Krishna consciousness under superior direction is called yukta. What does yukta mean?
Who has
As an adjective, what does it mean? Visheshana hai.
who has it, who has those qualities or something.
Yeah, it actually means several things. It comes from the dhatu yuj, which means to join. So he's engaged. Someone who is engaged in yoga is called yukta. And therefore, a person who is engaged properly is, yukta also means proper. He's properly situated. And if you're endowed with something, that means you're engaged with that thing. So yukta, again. So Krishna says, however we want to interpret it, he says, yoga yuktatma, sannyasa yoga yuktatma. This person is properly situated in sannyasa yoga. Sannyas doesn't necessarily mean you have to put on saffron cloth and run away and shave your head and do radical things. It just means that you have to be properly engaged. Now here Krishna gives us a very easy way to do that. Whatever you do, you offer it. One sage in Vrindavan told me, if you're hungry, you feed Krishna. If you're tired, you make a nice bed for Krishna to take rest. We all feel these things. If you have to go to work, you make sure that Krishna is taken care of, and you consider that I'm working for Krishna to make sure that Krishna is taken care of. Like your children. Actually, Prabhupada told us, you should treat your deities like children, and you should treat your children like deities. Would it not be a nicer world if everybody had this consciousness? No more child abuse. So, Shubha Shubha Phalayareva Mokshase Karma Bandhanehi. The problem is that in this world, because we're not doing this, we're not thinking of Krishna, and we're not offering things to Krishna. Therefore, whatever we do, what happens? What is the result of the things that we do in this world? He's already said this in previous verses in chapter 3. Anybody know the verse I'm thinking of? Chapter 3. How many people here have read Bhagavad Gita, whole Bhagavad Gita? Raise your hand if you've read the whole Bhagavad Gita. And people are kind of like... But actually, if we are familiar with Bhagavad Gita, chapter 3, Krishna deals with karma yoga. And in that chapter, he advises us to, he says, chapter 3 and 4, both, they deal with karma yoga. And he says, if someone offers their work as a sacrifice for Lord Vishnu, then he's freed from good and bad reactions. Otherwise, what happens? Anything you do, you get a karmic reaction. And you have to pay for that at some point. Nothing is free. No such thing as a free lunch, as they say. You have to pay. Either you pay now by performing austerities and you get purified by the austerities. That's like paying up front. Or you wait for the bill. That's like the credit card. In America, everybody takes credit cards and everything. No more cash. In India also, they would like to do that nowadays. Anyway, the idea is that everything has its price. So good and bad activities, if they're non-devotional, they have either auspicious or inauspicious results. Who decides whether the result is auspicious or inauspicious? Who defines that? It's relative, isn't it? So who decides? You decide. If you don't like something, that's what you get for your sinful activities. And if you like something, that's what you get for your pious activities. It's relative to you. Good and bad is what we define. So, generally people are interested in enjoying in this material world. They consider that to be good. But either way, we have to deal with some sort of reaction. But here it says, Mokshase karma bandhanehi. You'll become freed from the bondage of karma. We might say the person is karma yukta. He's joined to the karmic reaction instead of Krishna yukta, yoga yukta. He's karma yukta. And in this way we have to suffer. So this world is called the world of bondage in this way. But Krishna says, if you do something for me, then you'll become free automatically. And you'll come to him as well. Then he goes on to say, Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dvesho stina priyaha. Ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya maete teshu chavyaham. I don't envy anyone, nor am I partial to anyone. I'm equal to all. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. Prabhupada writes here, he's got a fairly long purport, he says, one may question here that if Krishna is equal to everyone, and no one is his special friend, then why does he take a special interest in the devotees who are always engaged in his transcendental service? Anyone have an answer for this? Krishna is equal to everyone. No one is his particular friend. No one is particularly his enemy. Then why, if Krishna is equal to everyone, why does he take special care of his devotees? No one has any idea? Yes.
Because he loves them.
He loves his devotees, okay. But does that mean he's fair or he's unfair?
Because the devotees remember him all the time.
There's a particular verse that I'm thinking of, which Krishna speaks in Bhagavad Gita. Yeya tamam prapadyante tam tanstateva bhajamyaham. He says, as they approach me in various moods, I reciprocate in those moods. If we approach Krishna in love, then Krishna reciprocates in love. Usually, how do we approach Krishna in the material world? How do we approach him? What's our mood in approaching Krishna?
Selfish motives.
Hey, Krishna, I need some help. Isn't it? Can you help me out? I got a problem here with my karma. The results of activities I've performed while running away from you. Now I've created a mess of my life, and I need some help. Can you get me out? This is our mood. So that's one kind of reciprocation, and Krishna will reciprocate with that if that's what you want. But if you come to Krishna instead and say, Krishna, I love you. How many people have done this in the last week? When you go in front of Krishna, you say, Krishna, I love you. Tell me what I can do for your pleasure. You see? People generally don't think like this. But this is exactly what Krishna is saying. He's not partial to anyone. He's not envious of anyone. He's equal to everyone. But whoever renders service to him, he renders service in response. What does it mean? Mama vartmanu vartante manushya parta sarvasha. What is that verse? He says, Tesham satati yuktanam prajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam priyanti te. Krishna says, I give him the intelligence if he's worshipping me. In fact, Krishna even says he will worship his devotee. Bhajami, he will say in Bhagavad Gita. We see this also. Sometimes people have this question, why, if Ram is the supreme, then why did Ramchandra worship Lord Shiva? Right? Ramchandra is prepared to worship his devotee. Krishna is prepared to worship even Sudama Vipra. Sudama Vipra was very dear to Krishna, and he approached Krishna with a gift. Out of love only, he brought some chipped rice, not a very valuable thing, but he gave it for Krishna. And Krishna was so pleased with that. What did Krishna do? Anybody know the story? He gave a palace. Sudama Brahman was a poor Brahmin. He and Krishna went to Gurukula together. And they were both very dear to their spiritual master. Krishna grew up and became the king of Dwarka. Sudama Brahman grew up and became a poor Brahmin. So then his wife is always nagging him. Because that's what they do. Once I was traveling in a car with Radhanath Swami, and has the GPS system on. And the voice is saying, turn left here, go down the street, turn right here, go down 50 yards, turn left here. And Maharaj is looking at this thing, and finally she doesn't stop talking, and Maharaj just shakes his head and says, Are, this thing is worse than a wife. So Sudama Vipra's wife was nagging him, listen, we have nothing. How poor was he? It's described actually. They were so poor that the wall of their apartment was falling over. They didn't even have money. They had like no clothes to wear. They had nothing at all. Could hardly feed the family. Somehow or other that was his position. I don't know how, but that's the Leela. So she's getting on his case, understandably. Understandably, she got on his case. You have to do something about this. It's too much. You have to take care of your family. So, all right. So he begged some flat rice and he went to see his friend Varkadish. When he got there, what did Krishna do?
Krishna
The
came.
guard brought him inside, and what did Krishna do?
Wash his face.
Yes. Oh, a Brahmin has come to our palace. He washed the feet of the Brahmin. Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, washed this Brahmin's feet. And then he took the water and he sprinkled it on his own head and on the heads of all of his family members. And then he prepared to worship the Brahmin with arati paraphernalia the way that we were just worshiping him. You see? He was doing this with his devotee. And, he's going on and on and on like this. Finally, he tells his friend, I think you've brought something for me. And then Sudama Vipra, seeing this staggering opulence of Dwarka city, Dwarkapuri, he was feeling ashamed. How can I give this a few crumpled grains of flat rice and tied up in a cloth? How am I going to give this to the king of Dwarka? So no, it's nothing. I don't have anything. Krishna forcibly grabbed it from him. And he said, oh, I want this. And he's eating and enjoying very much. And meanwhile, Rukmini Rani is also getting nervous. She sees her husband doing this. And she's thinking, oh, this is not really a suitable offering at all. So she wants to take it away from him. And he said, no, I'm enjoying this. So Krishna will worship his devotee. If we love Krishna, Krishna will reciprocate. In the Rasa Shastra, we find this very interesting opinion shared by Bharat Muni, famous. Any girls here study Bharatanatyam, dance? Some, usually they do, yeah. So Bharat Muni, he says, in the matters of love, there's no question of superior or inferior person. Both parties absolutely equal. In terms of love only. In terms of social responsibility, that's another matter, but in terms of the ecstasy of love that they feel, they both enjoy equally. So that means that in bhakti, the devotee is just as important as Krishna is. And so Krishna is just as interested in the devotee as the devotee is interested in Krishna. So Rupa Goswami writes a nice prayer about this. Since Sudama Vipra approaches Krishna with love and tries to render some humble service to Krishna only out of love, his motive was only love. His wife's motive was they need money. His motive was only love. And Krishna knew this. Therefore, Krishna is taking this humble offering that he sent, chipped rice, and Krishna is worshipping his devotee with all wonderful paraphernalia, so much so that his queens are all getting nervous. What's he doing? So Rupa Goswami writes in his Pajavali, he gives a very nice prayer. Which is relevant to this verse because Krishna is talking about what? Whatever you do, yat karoshi and yat ashnasi. Ashnasi means eating. What else does Krishna say about ashnasi? In the last verse he said it. Ashnami priyatatmanaha. I will eat if you give me something offered with love. Any gift of love. Bhakti upahara, upahritam. If you give me a gift of love, I will eat. So Goswami says, Tvijastrinam bhakte mriduni vidurane vrijagavam dadhi kshire sakhyo spotachipinda mushto murarepo yashodaya stanye vrajayuvati datte madhunite yathasi ramodas tam imam upahare pikurutam. My dear Lord, just as you enjoyed the offerings given you by the wives of the Yajnik Brahmins in Vrindavan. Has anyone here ever been to Vrindavan? Raise your hand if you've gone to Vrindavan. Oh, so many. You know the place in Vrindavan called Atula Chungi? That place is where this pastime happened. These Brahmins were performing a big important ritual, Sri Krishna Arpanamastu, but they're not listening to what they're saying. And their wives were devotees of Krishna, and Krishna and his friends were hungry. Actually, Krishna's friends were hungry. Krishna doesn't really get hungry, except in special circumstances, which I'll explain in a moment. But his friends became hungry, and they were asking Krishna, maybe do you think you could ask these Brahmins for something to eat? So Krishna calculated, just like an ordinary cowherd child, well, you know, we're only Gopagwalas. We're not very important members of society. But at least Balaram belongs to a Kshatriya family, so he's higher than us. Maybe they'll give him something, if not us. So they sent Balaram to ask from the Vipras, dear Vipras, performing important sacrifices, can you please give us something to eat? Our friends are hungry. And these Brahmins said, what did they say? Get out of here, we're doing important things here. Don't play here, go, leave us alone. They couldn't understand that the Supreme Personality of God is coming and asking them for something to eat. How fortunate they were. And they sent him away. And then the boys came back, Balaram and the boyfriends came back, and they told Krishna, no, they say they're doing things that are very important and we should stop bothering them. So he sent them back, said, now go talk to their wives. What happened when they saw the wives? These women, because they have soft hearts, gentlemen, understand your weakness. We have a disadvantage. One person once asked one of Srila Prabhupada's godbrothers, what is the position of women in Krishna consciousness? And this devotee said, the position of women in Krishna consciousness is superior to that of the men, because they have the attitude that we're seeking after. They are, by nature, they have soft hearts. By nature, they're attracted to Krishna. By nature, Krishna is attracted to them also. They have the fortunate position. We are unfortunate in this material world. So these women were very soft-hearted, and they said, yes, then we'll go steal something for you. So they took something and fed the boys. They were happy, and fed Krishna also, because they really loved Krishna. So that's one example. And Sudama Vipra, we know the story, we've already explained. Who else? Dvijastrinam bhakte mriduni viruranne. When Krishna came to Vidura's house, what did Vidura have to give Krishna to eat? Rukasaga Vidura's karakayo, no? So just some simple vegetable, nothing fancy. But Krishna ate with relish because it was from the hand of his devotee. From the hand of a devotee. It's described that if you go to Vrindavan and some Vrajavasi offers you roti and hot milk, that is the sign that Krishna favors you. Hot ki roti, they make with their hands. Once I was in Nandagaon, and I was with the Houston temple president, so he gave a substantial donation to the pujari. His name was Badri Prasad Goswami. He's no more in this world. But Krishna Balaram, they also live there at the top of Nandishwara Hill in Nandagaon. And this pujari was so happy with the donation, he said, please come to my house, we will feed you something. So when we got there, what did he give us? It was early in the morning, maybe 8, 9 o'clock. So his wife gave us some hot milk, straight from the cow, that he keeps in his house, and hot ki roti, and achar, and big laddus this big. It was the most satisfying nashta I've ever had in my entire life. And the temple president of Houston was so completely just blissed out by this experience that he shamelessly asked her for more. Do you have more? Because it's a great fortune. So in Vidura's house, Krishna knew that I'll be treated like this. And therefore he wanted to eat very nicely, because he wants only love. He only wants love. See? So, what is that? Vijastrinam bhakte mriduni virunane vrajagavam. Vrajagavam. What about the Vrajaki guy? What do they offer Krishna? What do cows eat? Grass. Except for the cow who lives across the street from me. Her name is Saraswati. She lives in MVT, therefore she's spoiled. She's like NRI cow or something. But she's Brajavasi. I mean, she may be, in her last life, she was probably chanting one of these stotras that says it's the Falashruti, that if you chant this prayer, then you'll get all material enjoyment plus go back to Godhead. because she lives in a place where everybody meets her every need. There's absolutely no danger. She never gets in any fights. There's no other cows, nothing, no problem at all. And she's so spoiled that if you bring her a nice bag full of fresh vegetable peels, she'll neglect it. Why? This is how cows are. Buffalo are easy. They're easier to take care of than cows. Buffaloes will just comply with anything you tell them. If you want them to go this way, they'll, oh, okay. That's it. And they give sweet milk, and they're dumb and they're compliant. So everybody likes cows better, bulls better, or buffalo better. But cows are a little bit sensitive, so she's a little picky cow. And because everybody feeds her anything she wants, therefore she's only willing to eat two things. One is gur, and the other one is roti. She likes a high-carb diet. Saraswati the cow. So Vrajagavan, these cows of Vrindavan, what do they offer to Krishna? Huh? Yeah, therefore what rasa do they have with Krishna? Vatsalya. Hona parega. It must be Vatsalya, only thing that fits. They're like mothers. Cow is eating grass and turning it into milk. Prabhupada said, this is mystic power, Achintya Shakti. Can you do this? Ladies? Any of you can eat grass and turn it into milk? No, only cows can do this. So, Vrajagavan, they very happily offer their milk to Krishna. Yashodaya stanye. And the breast milk of Yashoda, similarly. Of all the mothers, she is the supreme. She offered her breast milk also to Krishna. How so? Ankadhirudham shishugopagurham stanam thayantam kamalaika kantam sambodhayama samudaya shoda govinda damodara madhaveti. He is sitting on her lap, the supreme, the one and only Lord of Lakshmi, Kamala Eka Kantam, Mahanarayan of Vaikuntha, but he's sitting in the lap of a cowherd woman, and he's drinking her breast milk. And she is looking at his face with great love, and she calls him Govinda Damodar Madhava. Angadiruram Shishugopa Gurham. Shishugopa Gurham. He's concealed in the form of an ordinary cowherd child. Stanam Tayantam Kamalaika Kantam, drinking her breast milk. So this is very pleasing to Krishna. We know from Damodar Leela, Jiva Goswami has very nicely described this in his Gopal Champu. What happens before the Damodar Leela? What is the first thing that happened that day? Does anybody know? Pratasmarami dadhi ghosha vidhu avasana ramaniya mukharavindam. At the break of dawn, he's awakened. What is the sound that awakens him? The gopis are having all these chudiyam on their arms, no? And it's like when they're churning butter like this, it sounds a little bit like kartal. And what are they singing? Govinda Damodar Madhava. They're singing like this. And Krishna hears this. His sleep is broken by this sound. So what does he do? Nidravasana ramaniya mukharavindam. At the time when he's just woken up, at that time his maximum cuteness displayed. Because he's a little spacey and doesn't quite know what's going on yet, and he's unwashed. Krishna. In that form, Bilvamangal Thakur says, Nidravasana ramaniya mukharavindam. His lotus face, not quite bloomed yet. This is the idea. Lotus, but not quite blooming. Actually, the Braj poet Surdas also, he describes this. We have to back up to the night before. When Yashoda puts him to rest, she sees that he's becoming a little sleepy. And so what happens when children get sleepy? Their eyes start going like this, and they start nodding out. So Yashoda understands it's time to put him to bed. Surdas, he says that Krishna's two pupils, they look like two little black bees who are caught in the closing petals of a day-blooming lotus. Kamalanayana. He said, this is poet. Sura Sura Tulasi Sasi Urugana Kesavadas. Aaj ke kabhi khad loksam firte aspas. You understand? Sura is like the sun, Tulsi is like the moon. All the stars together are like Keshavdas. These are three famous poets. Today's poets, so-called poets, they're just like little fireflies buzzing around for a while. Nothing. They have nothing on Surdas. So he says like this. So she puts him to rest, and when Krishna is sleeping, with each of his little breaths, his stomach rises and falls. And Brahma, who is sitting in the lotus flower in his navel, Padmanabha, Brahma is trying to hold on and he's worried about what's going on. This is how Surdas describes when Krishna goes to bed. Then the next morning when he wakes up, Nidravasana Ramaniyu Mukharavindam. He has his mukha is like a lotus, or his eyes are like lotuses. When the lotuses bloom first thing in the morning, do lotuses bloom at night or do they bloom during the day? They bloom during the day. So what happens when the sun rises, the petals of the lotus flower open up, and what happens? The little bees buzz out. And where do they go? Kadachit kalimdi tarhabipina sangeeta karavo muda abhiri nari vanana kamala svada madhuba. Krishna is compared to be like these little bees who come buzzing out of his lotus. And where does he go? He looks for other lotus flowers to taste the nectar from. In the form of what? Abhiri nari kamala. The lotus faces of the cowherd women in Vrindavan. This is what he does in the morning when Krishna wakes up. In fact, this is how we wake up Krishna in the morning. Sometimes he doesn't want to get up. Mother Yashoda can't understand why this boy doesn't want to wake up. She can't understand. We also don't know. We put him to bed at night, that we know. But what he does after that, we don't know. So, this Krishna, he wakes up and Mother Yashoda's there, and Krishna's first business, he indicates, Mother Yashoda's first business is to feed him. So breast milk. So Rupa Goswami prays that you also took pleasure in the breast milk of Mother Yashoda. And finally, Madhuni, what is that? Vraja Yuvati Datte Madhuni. Whatever sweets were given to you by the young girls of Vrindavan, the gopis of Vrindavan, all these offerings were given to you, Muraripu, O enemy of Mura. So please accept my offering in the same way. Please accept my offering like this. If we approach Krishna with this attitude, trying to please him and remembering the character and the love of the devotees who have pleased him in the past that we read about in the Srimad Bhagavatam, then we can begin to approach their standard. And when we do that, how does it become? Nanopachara krita pujana marta bandho premnaiva bhakta hridayam sugavidrutam syat yavat kshadasti chathare jaratha pipasa tavat sukhaya bhavatu nanu bhakshyate. This verse was composed by Srila Ramananda Rai, and it's found in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. You can interpret it in a couple of ways, depending on if you switch out the ashraya for the vishaya, subject and object. So, he says that when we ardently, when our hearts have melted in love for Krishna, and when we ardently wish that Krishna will accept our offering, in the same spirit as this prayer that we've just heard from Rupa Goswami, he said, then Krishna's hunger to accept your offering commensurately increases. As much as you ardently pray for Krishna to eat what you have brought before him, or whatever you're offering him, if you pray for him to accept your offering, to that degree he becomes eager to take that offering. And if you just do it ritually or mechanically or thoughtlessly, even worse, then he's also not going to pay much attention because he doesn't need it. He doesn't need anything from us. But what he wants from us is what he doesn't have from us. And what is that? Love. Only love. So give Krishna your love, and this is how he suggests that we can do it. Anyone can do this. Whatever you do, you just have to remember him. Whenever you do anything, you just have to remember, oh, this is supposed to be for Krishna. Shri Krishna Arpanamastu. Whatever you eat, I think we're pretty good at that. We all like to eat prasadam. And whatever you offer or give away, whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering unto me. And in this way we gradually become Krishna conscious, and we relish ecstasy at every step. I think we should stop here, but if anybody has any questions or any comments, we can discuss.
Hare Krishna, thank
Yes.
you. My question was regarding the part where you said about we should treat children as our deities. Now, that could be understood as what giving them whatever they want, right? How
It
do
could
we
be understood that way, yes.
how do we practically apply that?
Srila Prabhupada generally used to cite from authorities such as Chanakya Kautilya, or from Supashitas, or from Dharma Shastras, or from Hitopadesh and other such mundane Shastras. They're mundane, but they're very helpful in our mundane affairs because, believe it or not, we do have mundane affairs. We're not so transcendental all the time. So, Srila Prabhupada advised, accordingly, when your children are between birth and 5 years, you let them go wild. Whatever they want, you just indulge them. That is healthy, because then they will love you. When between 5 and, say, 10 or 12, you have to discipline them very strictly. Not sternly necessarily, but strictly. And by the time they become teenagers, and unless you've not noticed yet, that won't work anymore, because they no longer accept the parents as gurus, they accept the peers, older kids, as gurus. So at that point, you have to simply befriend them and hope and pray that you did a good job when you were younger. These are among the things that we hear from Srila Prabhupada. Now, this can also be taken another way, wrongly. If we treat our children like deities, that means, well, sometimes you find parents that, it seems as if they feel that their child is going to be the next acharya, right? Or that their child is some specially blessed incarnation come here to benedict humanity, or at least Paramus. So, that mentality also we have to be a little careful of. But I think what Prabhupada meant when he said you should treat your children like deities, you have to take it very seriously to be a parent. I was mentioning this the other day in, what is that place called? Plainfield. There is a lady across the street from my host in Hyderabad a few years ago. And she was NRI, Telugu, and she's coming every year to India. Why? Because this couple, believe it or not, they left their kid in India while they pursue their careers in America. Husband working, wife working. Nobody's with the child. Child is with great-grandmother. But once a year she comes, and even once a year she comes, even half that time she's out at parties or she's out shopping in the South India shopping mall or something like this. Well, what kind of parenting is this? These kids, we call them in America latchkey kids. They know that they're not loved because the parent's never there. So where do they go to seek their love from? Especially when they're teenagers. Older kids. And they're not the best kids all the time. And these are the kids that your taxes pay to incarcerate once they get into trouble. So this is not what Prabhupada meant. Treating your children like they're deities means you have to take your responsibility very carefully, very seriously. And on the other hand, as we said, you have to treat your deities like children. You have to take that responsibility very carefully also. So, to have Krishna consciousness along with a responsible material life, that is the ideal thing. But to have either one of them alone, it won't work in this world. Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay, you want to add something? Have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. You mentioned that Krishna is equal to everyone, but Krishna is like the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So could you just clarify that?
Well, the Supreme Personality, just being the Supreme Personality of Godhead doesn't necessitate being unfair to anyone. Krishna is equal to everyone, but as we said, if you treat Krishna like a friend, then Krishna will treat you like a friend. If you treat Krishna like your child, he will treat you. You see, like a parent. you see. He responds commensurately, accordingly, to the approach that we come. If we treat him like something unimportant, then he treats us as something unimportant. We will never believe in him because we don't see him. So, we have to apply this principle with a little faith, and then we see the result. Yes, he reciprocates. It's very clear. Is that helping?
Okay, I think I just misinterpreted what you meant when you said like equal. So I thought you meant like same level, but you're saying equal doesn't.
Equal does not mean homogeneous. This is a very important point. Is that what you're snagged on?
I think so. Yeah.
Yes, it appears that way. Equal does not mean that everybody is exactly the same. Status is there. Some people are inferior people. Some people are superior people. We have to wrap our heads around that. Variety. In terms of, from a purely logical analysis, variety means there must be hierarchy. And this is wildly unpopular in modern society, especially in New York, it seems. I've been here a week, but I'm getting this impression. People are like, fanatically dedicated to making everything artificially equal. And it doesn't work, because we're not equal. Some people are stupid. It's a fact. I mean, we don't want to call names, and we want to be polite and everything, but some people are just not the brightest bulb on the chandelier. And you've got to deal with that. Some people are just, that they're just born to lead others. They have that qualification, and you just have to deal with it without being envious. It's a fact. There are all kinds of people, and some of them are great, and some of them are insignificant. Now, I was saying, variety implies hierarchy. If you have different things, some things will be better, some things will not be better. And even those people who vociferously argue, very adamantly argue in terms of absolute equality, especially on the social level, in all times, places, and circumstances, those people are very careful about who they marry their daughter to, because they actually don't believe what they're saying. Really, that's what it comes down to. You see? So the better thing is to approach this issue the way that Bhagavad Gita instructs us to approach it. Look at things in terms of the three modes of material nature, and understand, chatur varnyam maya srishtam guna karma vibhagasha. Guna, karma vibhagasha. A person it's a meritocracy, is what I'm saying. This is not an ideal, this is the reality, whether you like it or not. This is how it is. And it's always been that way, and it will always be that way. And generally, it's a good idea to mistrust people who claim otherwise, because, as I said, if you really analyze closely, they usually don't apply it in their own lives. Is that okay? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Yes.
Prabhuji, you mentioned about these lectures, in this lecture is treating your kids as a deity and treating the deity as a kid. When we are listening to these lectures, this seems like doable or practical, but how to keep your mind and yourself situated in that mood or that consciousness, that's a very difficult part. Once you go out of this, things start falling.
Yes, yeah, you've noticed. Krishna consciousness is a very simple thing to talk about. But when it actually comes to applying it, it's not so easy thing. Therefore, we strengthen each other. We have association. Like today, we're all coming together because we recognize we need this. If we're going to stay spiritually healthy, even if we're just going to stay socially healthy, we require association of like-minded individuals. So in that association, our intelligence is gradually honed. We become clear to see what to do and what not to do in certain circumstances. We get inspiration to do it because sometimes we just need a little push more than we need direction, right? And similarly, so many things we derive benefit from devotees' association. Therefore it said, sadhu sangha, sarva shastrakai, lava matra sadhu sangha, sarvasiddhi, right? Sarvasiddhi. Every perfection comes through sadhu sangha. So the key, the secret, if you will, to actually applying these principles in our personal lives, in our material lives, I mentioned in the beginning, that's an important thing to underline, material, then the key for that is association with devotees, because they supply everything we need, sarvasati. Is it clear? Do you believe it? Okay. Yes?
Prabhuji, you gave the example of Sudama Brahman. So Sudama came with chip rice, and there was an issue at home, so he came basically to see if Krishna can help him out, resolve his financial problems and things like that. But when he left from there, Krishna had not given him anything. So he came with something, he didn't ask for it, he left, nothing he received. But when he got back home, he saw what he had received.
This is called no expectations.
No expectations. So in this material world, when we serve Krishna and we put in efforts, or we seek something, and when we don't get immediate results, we start feeling unhappy, we feel neglected.
Or even resentful. Sometimes people
Yes.
get resentful also.
I've been doing so much service, or I've been serving our deities so nicely, and there's no reciprocation, there's no appreciation.
I've been giving so many big donations for so many years, and still my loved ones got cancer. What is this Bhagavan all about?
Right. Or I've been giving donation and I still don't get to do, I'm not given importance in the wherever. So how can we develop that mood like Sudama had, where he came, he had love, he didn't get it from Krishna, okay, that's all right. I'm happy with however Krishna reciprocated, and not have these expectations.
Tamal Krishna Goswami used to say in this regard that studying Srila Prabhupada's books can tell you what to do. But if you memorize these books and you're not willing to actually apply the teachings, it's not really going to help that much. In fact, usually if the heart remains infected, then sometimes it's worse to have a little knowledge, because we just use it to abuse others. That we see this. So what do we really need? We need the holy name of Krishna. We need to chant sincerely, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And how do we need to chant? In what spirit should we chant? We should chant like a baby crying for its mother, helpless, no expectations. When we chant like that with full concentration, then the infection within our heart is dissolved. And then we don't have these issues so much anymore, because the heart is becoming purified. The problem is that our hearts are infected. We are infected by so much manipulative, kutinati sort of mentality, and all these expectations are extending from that. The heart has to be pure. The Shastra can direct you, can give you proper guidance what to do, but only the holy name can inspire you to do it or not. We can read things, but if we're not willing to apply the principles, we don't get the result. So we have to chant Hare Krishna seriously. And now in America, North America, they have this Japa conference every so often. I don't know if it's here. Other places I've seen they do this. So every morning you can call up and you can just sit and chant japa with other devotees, and they supply some, even if it's digital only, that's okay, but at least you're connected somehow. Yukta, yoga yukta. So this is what we need, holy name. That's one answer. There can be many ways to answer this question. Is that okay? Anything else? Okay, so then we can stop here. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.